Tell me how that came about.
She'd never liked kayaking before, just recently tried it, and she enjoyed it. I let her borrow my kayak
No.
to get
That's
into
a conclusion.
Okay.
I want you to tell me what she said to you and what you said to her.
There was nothing ever said.
She
I
just
let her borrow it.
That's not an answer. Let her borrowing it is a conclusion. The word borrow is a conclusion in this context. She came into the kitchen where you were sitting with her mother and she said, I'd like to go kayaking. Can I borrow your kayak? And you said, yes, you may borrow my kayak. That's a conversation. If she just took it without asking you, that's stealing it. Do you understand?
Yes.
So you had a conversation. What was the conversation?
The conversation I had was with Jennifer, and I
Was with
Jennifer.
her mother.
Yes.
Fine. Tell me when you had the conversation with her mother and where you were.
Jennifer asked if I could bring an extra kayak, and I was more than happy to do that.
No. Now, happy as you, your happiness has no interest to me at all. She said, can you bring an extra kayak?
Yes.
Now, that kayak, therefore, was in your house.
Yes, at Jennifer's.
You just, was
That's where I lived.
You lived at her house?
Yes.
Oh, I thought you said you had your own house.
I have a trailer that I moved out of. Yes. I was living at Jennifer's house.
So you had more than just a couple of changes of clothes?
Yes.
So you lived in a trailer with anybody else?
It was on a friend's property.
Is that where you are now?
Yes.
Back in the trailer?
Yes.
The trailer doesn't have a shed, or does? Is not an
yes.
answer. Don't
Yes.
think of where I'm
It does
going.
have a shed, yes.
Before you moved in with Jennifer in July, where did you keep your kayaks?
At my trailer.
How many did you have there in the shed in your trailer?
I have 4 kayaks.
So her kayak is on her porch, and what you're telling me is you brought all your 4 kayaks to her house?
No.
No. Good. Then let's go back. How many did you leave in the shed at your trailer?
2.
So I assume you brought one of your favorites to her house.
Yes.
And the other one was for?
Having to borrow.
When did you bring it?
The last week of August.
So then you had 2 kayaks at her house.
Yes.
Your favorite
Yeah.
and the one that you let her daughter use.
Yes.
Where is that kayak?
There was only Heaven's kayak and my kayak, and actually he gave it to her towards the end of August or the end of July, and I have proof of that. I have pictures of her kayaking in the beginning of
I don't
August.
care about her pictures of her kayaking.
Well, he gave her the paddle and the kayak. He had an abundance of them. This was a very cheap one. It was only $300-400 that he had bought and used.
He didn't bought anything. He bought.
He gave it to her because she liked kayaking. He told me that he had a paddle and a kayak that she could have and brought it over for her.
Why didn't you give him his clothes back?
I told him on the morning of September 2nd.
No, look at me.
On the morning of September 2nd, he called me to ask me if I wanted to go on our honeymoon. I told him, don't come to my house.
Don't come
that
to
you
my
had
house. He wanted
spent
to
the
go
night with your ex-girlfriend.
Listen to me.
I know that you spent the night with your ex-girlfriend.
Is
Don't
that
come
why,
here.
Is that why you didn't give him his things back?
No, it's not. He called the police. I called the police when he stole my kayak. The police had told him that day that he was to have his roommate come to my house and gather his property, who has never came to my house to gather any property. At this point, I'm paying for dumping of his trash that he left there, his clothing that he left there.
You told me he had 2 changes of clothes.
He
Ms.
did,
Schultz.
and he has trash in my
No,
yard. He had
Ms.
trash
Schultz.
in my shop that he left there. I have pictures of it. Would you like?
No.
Oh.
I'm not believing it all. Listen to me. Not believing it all. Mr. Van Etten, your problem is, you see, with regard to her kayak, which is really all that I care about in this thing. She wants the cost of her wedding and the dress and the shoes. She's not getting that. That happens. Sadly, it happens, but it happens. That's not something that you're responsible for paying for. But you took her kayak off the porch.
I did take it off the porch.
Just a second. And when you were told to return it, you didn't return it to the porch. You left it on her lawn.
I did.
And she says she doesn't have it.
She's lying.
You can ask my daughter, Your Honor.
I'm not
We
asking you
watched
to.
him-
Listen to
we
me.
wa- She watched him carry it away
not-
after the police left and break into my shop, break 2 doors down, and steal the other kayak out of my shop.
Just that's not what I asked you. What I asked you was, do you want me to believe that somebody stole your kayak from the front lawn?
No, Carl stole my kayak from the front lawn. Not somebody.
No.
Carl did.
Is that what you want me to believe?
Yes.
How many kayaks do you now have in your house?
None.
Where is the one he gave your daughter?
That's the one that he stole out of the shop.
Did you file a police report on that one?
Yes, I did.
I'd like to see it. Sounds to me like you may be in trouble, Mr. Van Etten.